Hey everyone on YouTube. In today's tutorial, I'm excited to walk you through recreating this awesome calendar feature on Windows Form using C#. I'll guide you step by step, making it super easy to follow along. Let's dive in and create something wonderful together. In my blank Windows form, I'll adjust the size to fit my preferences. You can do the same according to your project's needs. Next, I'll add a flow layout panel from the toolbox onto the form. Then, I'll set its size from the properties. This panel will serve as the container for our user control days. Additionally, I'll add 7 labels from the toolbox, which will represent the names of the days of the week. These labels will help organize our calendar. I will also add temporary panels to visually represent the size of the user controls we'll be adding later. This helps us plan and organize the layout effectively. Feel free to set the properties according to your preferences. You don't have to replicate all of the properties I've set. Adjust them to suit your needs and style. Once you're satisfied with the size of the panel, feel free to delete all the temporary panels we added earlier. Next, let's add another label to display the name of the month. Additionally, we'll include 2 picture boxes to serve as our next and previous buttons. These elements will enhance the functionality and user experience of our calendar. Let's create our user control by navigating to the Projects menu and selecting Add User Control. I'll name my user control UC Days. This user control will help us display the days effectively within our calendar. We'll set the size of the user control to match the dimensions we determined earlier from the temporary panels we added. This ensures consistency and proper alignment within our calendar layout. I'll add a panel to our user control and set its dock property to fill the entire area. Then, I'll add padding to the user control, which will create a border effect around it. This enhances the visual appeal of our user control within the calendar. Next, I'll include a label within the user control to display the day. Additionally, I'll integrate a checkbox within the user control to indicate the active state of each day. This checkbox will provide users with the ability to interact with and select specific days within the calendar. Let's declare a global string variable called day that we can use to keep track of the current day in our calendar. Let's add a parameter called day in our constructor. This will allow us to easily update the value of the day label in our user control. Make sure to assign the text of the label to the day variable. And also remember to hide the checkbox that we included for the state status. We'll add 2 global variables, date and weekdays. We'll assign the complete date to these variables. Let's add a fresh method called showDays that takes in the month and year as parameters. This method will handle showing the days of a particular month. To start, we'll clear out any existing content in the container to make room for the new display. Next, we'll set the year and month to a global static variable. These variables will be accessible by the user control. We'll also create a new variable called monthName. Using the datetime format info class, we'll retrieve the name of the month based on the provided month integer parameter. Then, we'll display the month name on a label labeled month. Using the datetime object, we'll obtain the date of the first day of the month to establish our starting point to find out the total number of days in the month. Let's create an integer variable called day and iterate through each day in the month using the days in month method. Create an integer variable week to convert the start of the month to an integer. By adding 1 to the result, we adjust the day of the week representation to start from Sunday to Saturday. Now to add a blank controls for any days before the start of the month, we create a loop to ensure that the calendar starts with the correct day of the week. Next, we iterate through each day of the month and add controls for them. This populates the calendar with the appropriate day numbers. Call the showDays method with the current month and year. Create a click event handler for our panel in the user control. This event will set the active state of the user control's days. In the click event handler, we create an if condition. If the checkbox is not checked, we set the checkbox to true and adjust the background color to your desired properties. If it's checked, we set the checkbox to false and revert the background color to its default. We've got a variable called date that we set up earlier. Now, we want to give it a value based on the year and month variables we have in our main form. After that, we'll make sure the value is formatted properly as a date. Let's create a method named Sunday. This method will customize the appearance of Sundays in our calendar app. Next, we'll create a date-time object to convert the date we recently assigned. We'll then extract the weekday name and use it to conditionally set the label's foreground color. If the weekday is Sunday, we'll customize the label's color. It seems like only the foreground color of Saturday is changing instead of Sunday. This might be because we forgot to add one to our week variable in the showDays method. Next, let's create click event handlers for the next and previous buttons in our calendar. These event handlers will allow users to navigate forward and back. In our next button, we want to increment the month. We'll create a condition to check if the next incremented month is greater than 12, which means it's December. In that case, we'll set the month to 1, which is January, and increment the year. After that, we'll use the updated month and year as parameters in our showDays method. For our previous button, we want to decrement the month by 1. The condition will be if the month is less than January, in which case we'll set the month to December and decrement the year. We've successfully created a calendar using Windows Forms C#. For the next tutorial, I'll show you how to add holidays. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more helpful tutorials like this one.